Welcome back. We're still on the matter, talking about Russia. And you kept on insisting that if the World Cup was tomorrow, the Russians are ready by now.
Perfect. These Russians guys, they've planned before now. Everything was in place. Committees were being set up for every.
They weren't distracted with all the issues that were going on around.
They knew this World Cup was for them for taking. That's why when they hosted the Confederations Cup, it was just a way for them to test their facilities, which they did, and everything, every other thing then that wouldn't have been perfected will have been perfected by now. So as it stands now, Russia, as we speak, they are almost, if not 100% ready to take on the world come June.
Okay, so that's it. Russia ready to host the football world. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see the kind of hosting that the Russians will give. Okay, so let's leave Russia now and talk about Brazil. Let's talk about, PSG star forward, Paris Saint-Germain star forward, Neymar. His doctors have revealed that he's going to be out for 3 months. And now a lot of people are afraid, especially his Brazilian teammates and the Brazilian team, that this player might not make it for the World Cup. Because look, 3 months from now, you're thinking May, before you do some rehabilitation and all that. Is it going to be 100%? And we've seen players who have been rushed and
you just patch them
up. And usually the season after suffers. But for Brazil, how big a blow is this?
I want to see him in the World Cup. I want to see Neymar in the World Cup because he's one of the star players that will bring attraction to the World Cup. So I hope his injury heals before June. I hope it heals because even I wanted to see him in the second leg against
Real Madrid in the UEFA
Champions League. So fans already are not happy with the situation on ground. So Neymar missing again in the World Cup will be a big blow. So I pray he's fit. We want to see Neymar. I want to see the best players in the World Cup so that we set the World Cup ablaze. So I hope he recovers on time. And,
I'm very sure wherever Coach Tite is right now, he's worried. Coach Tite told us, I think a month or two ago, said, look, I already know 15 of my players, just 8 slots available, and he listed the 15 players. And guess what? Neymar tops that list. And this.
The man, if I were the Brazilian coach now, I'll be shaking. This is problem. So
the doctors from PSG, the doctors from Brazil will have to work together, oversee whatever operation or surgery that needs to be done, and ensure that the player is ready.
They'll be working on him day and night. They'll speed up the rehabilitation process. Everything will be done with this speed to make sure the guy really comes back.
Let's talk about the immediate one. The World Cup is just a few months. Let's talk about the immediate one. UEFA Champions League. Can PSG do it? Everyone that sits on that seat, when this issue comes up, that's the question I always ask them. Can Paris Saint-Germain do it without Neymar? Because it's obvious now he's not going to play. They have a 3-1 deficit. They need 2 unreplied goals or 3 outright. I mean, okay, 2 unreplied goals, they will be true. And for every 1 goal that Real Madrid scored, they need to score 2. So if Madrid scores 1, they need to score 4. Do you think they can do it?
The other time Barcelona played PSG in the Champions League, we were 4 goals down. They came back. Barcelona came back. They haunted PSG. That was why PSG got
Neymar.
They got Neymar. This guy.
They said they needed class.
Because they needed class. They got Neymar. They played the first leg. We didn't see much of it. So we hoped that the second leg, Neymar will have given this PSG side the much needed zeal they needed. So as it stands, Neymar is out of it. So it is now the opportunity for the Di Marias, for the Kylian Mbappés to show the world that this PSG team is not all about Neymar. This PSG team can still move. They have Cavani. They have so many world-class players there. They have so many players that can set that place on fire. So it is the opportunity for other players to just come to the party, to say, come, Madrid, this is our home ground. We can score these goals. We can do it. I think they have the players to do it, but I just hope the coach doesn't mix things up. I think Unai Emery, the way I'm even seeing that coach, he might not even survive after this season.
Okay, since you mentioned Unai Emery, let's really talk about him as well. If Paris Saint-Germain want to make changes, you think it might be a candidate for the sack as well?
He might be going after this season because PSG really needed this Champions League. It was just they needed it. That's why they got.
They were winning the league with their eyes closed. League,
exactly. So they needed
a step up.
A step up. They wanted to just move up. And as it seems, this Champions League might be leaving their grips as he's looking now. So the Emery needs to put on his thinking cap. Without Neymar, he doesn't have Neymar now. So now he has to bring in a Cavani, he needs to bring in a Mbappe, a Di Maria. Everybody needs to come to the party. We need this Champions League.
To show that he's actually a genuine tactician.
Exactly. This is where Emery now, his tactics, everything needs to come to play. That come, I can beat Zinedine Zidane on his day.
All right. Before we leave the Neymar issue, let's flip it over and talk about the Brazil national team. We talk about Unai Emery. He's condemned to playing without Neymar. Guess what? If Coach Tite is in that situation as well, you think he can cope?
Coach Tite, fantastic coach. I think he knows the psychology, he knows the psyche of all these players. I think he could manage the situation better.
But it's still going to be difficult as well.
I feel he would manage the situation better.
Okay. All right. So you're already looking at the scenarios, if and what if. But we'll see. Hopefully, like Umar said, we want to see all the best players at the FIFA 2018 World Cup. So hopefully no injuries to Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar gets well, and all the other players so that we can have a memorable moment when the World Cup.
Even Cristiano Ronaldo, Zidane is saving him for some key match. He doesn't play him regularly. He's saving his legs just to make him important for some key matches. Those are some things Emery should have done in PSG match. You don't use Neymar. You have Cavani, you have everybody. Why must you use Neymar week in and week out when you know you have crucial matches that you need him?
All right. Let's talk about Nigeria a little. Since you said that, let's talk about our own. I mean, you're looking at our players now. They're playing well. Which of the Nigerian players, if you're close to a coach and you want to say, please, we are thinking of the World Cup, or rest this one, which of those players will come to your mind?
Victor Moses.
Okay.
I think Victor Moses, I think he's doing quite well. He's mobile. So
if you're close to Conte, you say, please,
this guy
just rest this.
he's going to be very, very instrumental in that World Cup. Victor Moses.
What about Wilfred Ndidi? I thought, I think that's everyone's speak, and that's a player that must not get injured.
Agreed. Agreed. Wilfred Ndidi, he must not get injured. In that middle, we need somebody of his caliber to stabilize that middle. He has been very consistent, very, very consistent too. We need someone like him too. We don't need to miss our best players in this World Cup, because as it stands, Raw is even having some goalkeeping crisis that he had for him to take a goalkeeper trainer to go and meet Francis Uzo in Spain. That means his head is already, he's putting on his thinking cap already that in case this doesn't work, let this work. So players like Victor Moses, Ndidi, Diana Charles.
We are in some sort of a quandary, because as much as we don't want these players to get injured, in all of the friendlies that we have listed, a lot of friendlies, we still want to see these guys. So that balance between seeing these guys play and seeing how good they still are, and yet them not getting injured, it's a balance that we have to strike.
It's simple. If I were going to draw, you know your best players already. Just bring in some fringe players that might add up to this team. You don't need to bring in the Victor Moses, the Mikel Obis, the Gallos.
Or make them play 90 minutes all the time.
You don't need to. You have some fringe players, just push them in, see what they can offer. So that you don't go and overstretch these players and they get injured and you now put your hands on your head and say, I don't have my best players going to Russia.
I don't know what to do.
That will be another kettle of fish again.
Okay. So hopefully that won't happen to us. We're sitting here talking about Neymar. Hopefully it wouldn't be us talking about one or two of our stars, being doubtful for the World Cup. Hopefully that will not happen to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's see if we can quickly bring to you again the result from the Emirates. Should be halftime by now. Let's quickly. Last time we checked, it was 3-0. So let's quickly see a confirmation of that result. Okay, it's halftime now, and it's 3. So we'll see what happens in that one. But in football, stranger things have happened. There's still a lot of time to turn things around, even though you doubt the possibility of that. But you need to cast your mind back to the day that Newcastle, from 4 goals down, were able to claw their way back into the game, got 4 goals, even though I doubt that the Gunners can do it against Manchester City.
I doubt it. I look at that team. He has gotten some decent players. He has gotten the Aubameyans of his world. He has gotten the Mkhitaryan. What are you doing about your defensive midfielder? What are you doing about your defense? What are you doing about those 2 key positions? Since Patrick Vieira left that Gunners team, there has been nobody of his caliber, of his stature, to fill in that 4 in that Gunners team. And we see Harvey Wenger there doing nothing. So strange.
Okay, all right. If we can go on and on talking football, but let's spare some thought for athletics on the show tonight. Of course, it's still the Russians. We're still talking about the Russians. They're the ones in the eye of the storm. They're the ones under focus now. So let's talk about the Russians quickly. The IAAF saying that the Russians still remain banned, and they will be coming back to the fold sometime soon.
So with this Russian thing, there's so many conflicts, so many stories coming in and out of Russia. IUC says you are in, IAAF says they don't agree. So I think Russia brought all these things upon themselves. They started all these things, so they should just bear all these consequences. Yeah.
Let's quickly listen to the IAAF president talking about Sebastian Coe. We'll listen to him and come back for more on Sports Tonight.
The eligibility criteria within the sport has to be with the international federations. It has to be for the international federations to decide the eligibility of the athletes. And what do we mean by that? Simply, you know, are they in systems that are clean? Are they in systems that, to the best satisfaction of the international federation, is good enough? So it has to be for the international federations to make that judgment, and we have made that judgment. You know, the basic principle here, for me, has always been very clear. It's how can we separate the clean athletes from a tainted system? How can we get clean athletes into competition? And I think we've done that in a sensible and a proportionate way. We will have neutral athletes here. We had them in London. We had them in other competitions next year. But it is a very, very clear process, and it's a process that has served us well.
All right, so 2 different bodies, different stance on Russia. So the Russians, like Umar said, will have to sort themselves out. So we'll see how far they can go. All right, let's quickly do this. We should have done this earlier, but let's quickly see if you can do this now. Imba coach Paul Aigbogun joins us now. Coach, it's good to have you join us tonight. Let's quickly talk about your team with the few minutes we'll have left on the show. The next few days will be very crucial for your team. 3 very, very important matches to be played. Are you preparing for those crucial matches?
Hi, good evening. Hi, how are you? Yeah, just like you said, I mean, it's a very crucial and critical time for the team coming into especially our continental game, which will be played next weekend. So I think that's our main focus next Wednesday. So I think that's our main focus at the moment. So, you know, we'll take 1 game as it comes.
All right. I know this is a difficult question, but which of these games is your priority? I know you want to win all of the games, and 3 games in 10 days is really going to be very tough. Are you going to prioritize, or are you going to give the same level of attention to all the 3 matches within that time frame?
No, I think, you know, when you look at the league, for example, it's a league that actually gets you into the continent. So it's a very, very, very important, and it's your first pride. But then also the continental games are, when you know the history of the continental games are so important. So I think, I mean, for us, we look at all games as being important, whether it's FA Cup, whether it's the State Cup, whichever cup it's in. Whenever we go into any of the cups, we want to do our best. So at the moment, we're taking 1 game at a time and prioritizing each game as it comes along.
Oh, okay, all right. So let's quickly talk about the CAF Confederation Cup. A lot of people are afraid that maybe complacency might just say you're going to face a team from Republic of Benin, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to be a stroll in the park. You know, does that put any weight on your team? Because a lot of people expect you guys to move to the next stage. They feel that team shouldn't really cause Enyimba much problems.
No, I think, for any team to represent its country in any competition, the team has to be a good team. And whether we're playing against a team from Benin or a team from any other country, I mean Ghana or Cameroon or any of the non-Northern African countries like Tunisia, we take every game seriously and we play for every game in the same way. So we have to give them full respect. From what we've heard, they're quite a decent team, and we know that in order for us to do well, we have to be at our very best.
Let me quickly ask you before we let you go quickly. Okay. Well, I guess I have to leave it at that. I was about to ask you something. I guess I've got to leave it at that. I want to thank you, Coach of Enyimba, Paul Igbogun. Thanks for your time on the show tonight. Let's quickly go on the final break on the show. And when we return, we will be taking a look at the English Premier League. Join us again.